Hello Opals users. In this tutorial I'll be covering the setup and use of the quarantine tool. And the first thing you'll need to do if you're setting up a quarantine tool for the first time is go to Administration, Reports and Tools. You'll go down on the Tools menu to the very bottom to Quarantine Locations. And this is where you'll set up where you're going to place books that are in quarantine. Many libraries use plastic tubs, some use book trucks, some use empty shelving that's labeled as such. For this video, I'm just going to use the plastic tub. So I'm putting in a new location, and I'm going to put in tub 1, and I'll use a 6-day quarantine. I'll put another location in, tub 2. And by the way, if these tubs are all packed and done after the next day, if you haven't done any more, the location will be closed. After the 24 hours or the night passes, after midnight, it'll be closed, so you won't be able to add any more to that tub after the next day. So I'm going to save that. I hope I was clear on that, but once you set them up and they fill up and the next day comes, you'll use another tub, or you'll have to add more. Depending on your circulation activity, you may need more than 2. In fact, I often see 4 to 6 locations, depending on how often you're circulating and returning items. But even if you don't have enough, when you return an item, you have the option of creating an additional location. So there is the first setup you'll do, is adding your locations however you see fit, whether it's tubs, shelves, book trucks, etc. I've switched to another site for this recording to show you what it looks like for a site that's all set up. I'll go to Reports and Tools. And unfortunately, I don't think I have any filled up tubs. Just so you know, if this, you see this is 2 and this is a 1, if these were in red, you would be able to go in and click the red and unquarantine the items. I'd like to show you what happens when you log in the morning as a librarian or library assistant, whatever. Log in. I'm going to log into the site. And the task reminder will come up, showing me that I have 5 quarantine items to reshelve. Okay? You can click that, and it'll take you to the location area, and these are in red. That means if they're in red, they're ready to be reshelved. And again, I'd like to repeat this. If you see a time, that will not come out of quarantine until whatever the quarantine was, 3 days or 7, until the exact time that you put it in quarantine, and that's a true 24 hours. So to get items once they turn red out of quarantine, and my task reminder showed me that, you can click this, and there they are. If there's a reservation or a hold on it, they will display right here. And to end the quarantine, just a second, I just have to click here, and I can click End Quarantine. Now they're ready to be shelved, or if there was a reserve or hold, you can then have the patron pick it up. I'm going to do one more here, and I see there's 2 items, there's no reserves. I click here, and I click End Quarantine. I'll do the final one. No reservation, I click here, End Quarantine. Okay. Also, I'd like to show you what the reports are for quarantines in just a moment. I'd like to show you a couple of tools that you can use to see what's in quarantine. Administration, Reports, and Tools. Right here you'll see under Item Stat Reports, Quarantine Items. And I can create a report. I can also put in custom fields, author, title, ISBN, call number, etc. I'm just going to leave them all checked, save it, and now I'm going to create a report. And I have 3 items in quarantine. It shows me the items with the author, title, ISBN, call number, pub date, and the barcode, and the date it was quarantined, and which tub it's in. So that's a nice report. If you're wondering, what do I have in quarantine? I'd like to see this full spectrum of all the tubs or wherever your location might be. You can run the quarantine report, and I'll just show you where that is again. Reports and tools, and right here the quarantine items. Now another report is over here, the location. I showed you that earlier when I set up a library, but I can go back here now, click quarantine location, and have a look at all the various locations: Book Truck Red, Tub 1, 3, 2, and 5. Now these are in blue, so I can't take them out of this location, or out of quarantine, but I can look at the item. And I see that it's not reserved or anything, but I'm not able to take it out of quarantine because it hasn't ended. And this one was put in quarantine on April 29th at 12:44, and it will come out, because it's a one-day quarantine, on April 30th at 12:44. In quarantine. As we reach the end of this tutorial, I'd like to show you one final step of checking or returning items and putting them in quarantine. Circulation, returns, and you will scan the item. I'm going to paste it in. You'll click quarantine. You'll look for an available tub. Just a second. So you'll put the barcode in. Sorry, I had to resize the screen. You'll check quarantine. You'll look for a tub that's available. I'm going to choose tub 1. And now I'm going to return it. By the way, if there's no tubs showing, that means that they are full and they've gone past the 24-hour period, and you may need to add another location. You don't have to move out of the returns box. You can click here and add a new location. So if you have another tub or another book truck or the like, you can add it right here. I'm just going to add it to tub 1, return, and it was returned. Now let's finally, for the very end of the clip, go to Reports and Tools, and let's go back to the quarantined items, create a report. I could choose custom fields, and we'll see that tub 1 has the glass sword that I just checked in is in tub 1. I can also go up to Administration, Reports and Tools, go to quarantine location, and we see that tub 1 has 2 in it now, and there's 1 item on reserve. So that's another way of seeing it. So if you click the 2, you'll see that this glass sword is reserved. Now I can't end the quarantine yet, but when this quarantine does end, then I can end the quarantine and give the items to whoever reserved or put a hold on them. Thank you very much. If you need help, please email us at support@opalsinfo.net or call 877-331-1022, and tech support will be glad to help you with your quarantine tool.